All right, folks. So again, just finished watching Armageddon and Don't Look Up, so that, you know. But here's the Guardians review. This is by Charles Bramesco. I don't know who this is. Look Away. Why star-studded comet satire Don't Look Up is a disaster. When persuading someone to change their mind on a major topic, what's being said isn't always quite as important as how it's said. If a person feels attacked or disrespected or condescended to, they'll turn off their brain and block out the most rational, correct arguments on principle alone. Homo sapiens are odd, emotional creatures, more amenable to a convincing pitch than poorly presented rightness. It's why we vote for the guy we'd gladly have as a drinking buddy over the somewhat alienating candidates with a firmer grasp on the issues. It's why we feel heartbroken when the worst person we know makes a great point. I mean, okay. Adam McKay's new satire, Don't Look Up, a last-ditch effort to get citizens of the Earth to give a damn about the imminent end of days spurred by the climate crisis, appears to be at least somewhat aware of this defect in human nature. It's all about the difficulty of compelling the disinterested to care, in this instance about a gargantuan comet hurtling toward the Earth on a collision course of imminent obliteration. An emphatic, if rather ill-suited metaphor. Everyone's blasé about global heating, in part because it's so gradual. Because it isn't I love that. Like, yeah, the world being basically destroyed by climate change, it's not that big of a deal because it's fucking 70 degrees Fahrenheit on Christmas. What? It's 70 degrees Fahrenheit on Christmas. Is that a joke? No, not really. Blah, 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 portray astronomers, blah, 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 flummoxed to find that no one's all that alarmed about the planet killer they've discovered. Not the grinning daytime cable news dummies, blah, blah, blah. Not the White House, led by Trump-styled president, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about reading people's names. McKay, that's the director, Adam McKay. Evinces. What the fuck is evinces? I've never heard this word before. Hold on, let me educate myself. Evinces. Define evinces. What is that? Third person, evinces, reveal the presence of a quality or feeling, be evidenced of, indicate. I'm learning new words, folks. Here we go. Evinces a clear understanding that some measures of this apathy comes from Dr. Mindy's dry approach in spite of this message's gravity. The crucial facts and figures boring Chief of Staff Jonah Hill into mock sleep. But the director suffers from a variant of the same issues himself, putting off even the audiences inclined to agree with his stances through an ineffective delivery. Now, again, I love that, like, okay, so the review here, right? The review is that they basically recreate the real world, and that's bad, because people who are on the wrong side in the real world are going to see it and feel offended, and therefore the movie is bad. How about this? How about this? How about this? This is an idea. How about it's satire, right? How about the reason why it mirrors the real world so much is because the real world is actually fucked up. And how about the real, like, people not taking climate change seriously because, oh, it's just boring old scientists talking about it. How about that's actually a problem? Like, the review here lays out a bunch of the problems with the movie that are also problems with the real world. And instead of focusing on, like, fixing them, or it's like, and this is why we should take these things seriously, he's instead saying the film is bad. If you're like an IQ above 5 points, let's say maybe 4 points. Let's say you've got a 5.4 IQ, you will find this movie funny. If you're a dumb fuck who still doesn't believe in climate change or thinks the pandemic isn't real, you're going to get triggered because this movie's too woke. But you're going to get triggered no matter what. I say this. How about we stop caring about what stupid motherfuckers think? How about that? Does anyone think about that? How about if someone is dumb and doesn't think 2 + 2 is 4, how about we just ignore them? Write them off. Who cares about what they have to say? So anyway, they're just like talking about the movie here. Anyway, yeah, so I'm like, these reviews are really funny. So they basically just point out the movie is very, 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 like, it basically mirrors one-to-one what we're doing with climate change and with the pandemic. Like, the pandemic, again, no one took it seriously for the first 4 months. No one gave a shit. Right? So it's like, It's 1-to-1. It's a comedy satire of the real world. And if you're dumb in the real world, you're not going to like the movie because you're dumb. That's not the movie's fault. That's not the movie's fault. We can't have satire anymore because people might get triggered. Fuck that. So anyway, I've enjoyed the movie, and I've enjoyed reading these kinds of reviews. There's a lot more of these, but, maybe we'll make this a daily segment for a while. But again, the people getting mad at this movie are dumb, they're losers, they're morons, and they're easily offended. Imagine getting offended by a fucking comedy movie. Little snowflake bitch. These are the same motherfuckers that say comedy is sacrosanct when Dave Chappelle calls trans people icky and gross and ugly. Right, that's comedy. That's great. That's legendary. Wow, this guy is a real, messiah of our times comedically. Satire, making right-wingers and billionaires look like stupid motherfuckers, that's bad because it offends people that don't believe in facts and logic. It's not my problem. I'm sorry, that's not my problem. Anyway, good movie.